2.
Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy car enthusiast and Dave's fiance, Dustin reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are inside movies galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
To heal.
Alrighty, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, and I decided to subject these two friends of mine to a film that I watched and own from 2006 called The Illusionist. And it is directed by Neil Berger. It stars Edward Norton, Paul Giamatti, Jessica Biel, Edward Rutherford, among others. And it's based loosely on Stephen Hauser's short story, Eisenheim the Illusionist.
I'm sorry, just one question. The director is Neil Berger. Does
Correct.
that mean he's a hamburger?
No.
I'm sorry. I just can't resist stupid puns.
Yeah. But this basically tells the story of Eisenheim, a magician in the turn of the century of Vienna, who reunites with his childhood love, a woman far above his social standing. And it also depicts a fictionalized version of the Mayerling incident. And the Mayerling incident is a series of events surrounding the apparent murder-suicide pact of Rudolph, the Crown Prince of Austria, and his mistress, Baroness Mary Wetzera. They were found dead on the 30th of January in 1889 in an imperial hunting lodge in Mayerling. Rudolph, who was married to Princess Stephanie of Belgium, was the only son of Emperor Franz Joseph and Empress Elizabeth, and was heir apparent to the throne of Austria-Hungary. And Rudolph's mistress was the daughter of Elben von Wetzera, a diplomat at the Austrian court. Elben had been created a Freiherr, and the bodies of the 30-year-old Rudolph and the 17-year-old Mary were discovered in the Imperial Hunting Lodge at Mayerling in the Vienna woods.
Whew.
On the morning of the 30th of January, 1889. The death of the Crown Prince interrupted the security inherent in the direct line of Habsburg's dynastic succession. As Rudolph had no son, the succession passed to Franz Joseph's brother, Archduke Karl Ludwig, and his eldest son, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So, this establishment This establishation endangered the growing reconciliation between the Austrian and Hungarian factors of the empire. Succeeding developments led to the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie by Gavrilo Princip, a Yugoslav nationalist and ethnic Serb at Sarajevo in June 1914, and the July crisis that led to the start of the First World War. So, just wanted to give you some history on that before we got into the film itself,
Oh,
because
interesting.
that's the real story behind the Crown Prince and everything. Um, but yeah, let's see what IMDb says about the film, and then we'll go into first impressions of the actual film. In turn of the century Vienna, a magician uses his abilities to secure the love of a woman far above his social standing. That's very vague.
Yes.
So, well, let's see if first impressions can give us a more of a bearings. Tammy, was this a first time watch for you?
No, you turned me on to it quite a long time ago now. It was the first time I watched it. And we've watched it on and off since then. And I really liked it, so I ended up buying it for my collection. Um, I really liked it because I like magic anyways, and um, it had a little bit of everything. You had your magic, and you had your love story, and you had your uh, unsavory dude in it.
And his
and
minions.
huh?
And his minions.
Yeah. So yeah, it was fun. It was, I wouldn't say fun to watch. It kept you interested. You know what was with everything that was going on and everything. So I thought it was good. I thought, like I said, you had few different elements in it, and it wasn't it was a good movie because you had lots of different, a few different things going on in it that just kept your interest and kept you, you know, interested in what was going to happen next. So,
Okay. Is that pretty much it for right now then?
yep.
Okay, heading over to you, Boris. Was this a first time watch for you?
Yes, it was the first time, and wow, I must say I really enjoyed this movie. It blew my mind. I really didn't expect things to go that way, and at one point, it did cross my mind that her death might have been faked, but then there was too much indicating that it was real, and I kind of dropped that idea. But in the end, it turned out I was right, and I was like, "Holy shit!" But
Yeah,
yeah,
It's been a
the
while
truth.
since it's been a while since we watched it, so I actually forgot that part. So,
Yeah, here too.
but truth be told, in the end, I didn't fully understand how they pulled all of it off. So I'm going to have some questions during the discussion.
That's okay. It's good to have a good, healthy discussion. So, um, is that pretty much it then for you for now?
Oh, well, I also wanted to say At first, I expected it to be just a love story. Then, when she apparently got murdered, I thought, wow, it switches from love story to, I don't know, crime, justice, revenge, this and that. So, yeah, that was when I first got surprised, but in the end, there was yet another twist. So, yeah, I really went into this movie without knowing much of what to expect, and it really did a good job blowing my mind more than once.
And that's how you go into most movies. If I swear, if you go into a movie not totally expecting too much, sometimes a movie will actually blow your mind.
Uh, yeah, at the very beginning, when it was said that he was summoning some sort of ghost to the stage, and someone in the audience mentioned it was a female person, that was kind of a foreshadowing that she might get killed. So in a way, I was kind of seeing her death coming, but then I also thought, since it was foreshadowed so straightforwardly, I did think there might be some twist about it. But then, yeah, it tricked me
It
into
fooled
thinking
you.
I was wrong.
It fooled you.
Yeah,
It definitely gave you the illusion that it was
yeah.
that oh my god, they really went that way, and then holy shit, she's alive.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
But in any case, this is a movie that definitely knows what it is going in, and once it pulls you in, it's got you along the way, and once it reveals its full trick, even to the audience, it's definitely something to behold. And that's why I think that this is a good movie, even though I know a lot of it is fictitious. And well, again, it's loosely based on some reality and a fictional story. So of course it's gonna uh, go go into being its own thing, you know. But I myself going into this, I remembered the trailers for this, so I believe I was the first one who actually went and got a copy. Um, and I've liked it ever since. I do believe that in the same year, they were competing with each other to try to make like the best magician movie that there was, and I think I'm not sure if Now You See Me was out then, but I do think that The Prestige was another film that was out around that time that was pretty darn good too. So it's like they were trying to come up with like the best magician movies at that point in time. I believe not too long after that they did the incredible Burt Ward, and I think they did the first Now You See Me, and you know all these kinds of magic movies. I even think there was a Nicolas Cage movie out called Next around that time too. So it was like boom, 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 boom. There were a ton of magician movies coming out because that's the thing that Hollywood was trying to attack at that point in time. You know, there always seems to be a subject that once filmmakers are doing it, a whole bunch of other filmmakers have to go and like kind of do the same thing just to have a good marketing thing going on. But this one had class, and I think it definitely had an idea of what the time looked like. So it's definitely a period piece because the theaters looked amazing. The costumes looked fantastic, and I know that the magic tricks were done with a little bit of CGI, but I think it helped having
Mm,
that
yeah, I agree.
because each of the tricks were more different and unique than the one before it, and things of that nature. The other thing that I know is that Edward Norton hasn't always been known as an actor that can be easily gotten along with, director wise. Um, I know we didn't see anything of that in the behind the scenes at all, but from what I understood and what I've heard, he uh he wasn't exactly easy to get along with in the past. From what I gather, and he has been a very irritable actor to work with for some of his pre predecessor directors that he's worked with. Um, I don't know if you guys have heard anything thing about that, but Edward. So when I talk about Edward Norton, um, it's not that he's not a bad actor. He's a good actor if you can direct him, you know. And I think this one was one of his better performances. Um, I remember him, I believe, in Fight Club. That was a movie with Brad Pitt, and I think that's kind of how Edward Norton kind of got his fame. And then I believe that he also played uh, in the remake of Manhunter called Red Dragon,
Huh.
alongside Anthony Hopkins in as the guy who worked with him before Clarice. So William, whatever his name was. Tammy knows who I'm talking about. But that being said, let's get into the plot here. So, what do y'all think about? Well, I know it has us meet uh, Eisenheim when he's very young. He's the son of a carpenter. What do y'all think about him as a kid?
Whew, he was smart from what we saw. Also, like in adulthood, determined to fight for what he wanted, which is good to me.
Okay. What about you, Tammy?
Um, yeah, I thought he was smart, and I think he just he was a little bit different than the normal, and and I think that's cool. He wanted to be a little bit different, and that he thought of things different, and he's you know had his own ways of thinking and doing things, and so nothing wrong with that.
Nope. And then, what did y'all think about Sophie when she was younger?
Uh, I also like the fact that she cared about him so much that she was willing to run away with him, and that she would have made it happen if she wasn't physically overpowered by those assholes.
Yeah, I like that about her too. Unfortunately, uh, whoever her parents were, they definitely had a reign over a reign of control over her. Like they didn't trust her outside of wherever they lived. You know,
I like that she didn't conform to her parents' way of thinking, that it didn't matter that he was not the same class as her.
no, it didn't matter that he was a peasant,
Right.
which unfortunately in this world people still treat uh, people as if they are in different classes.
Yes.
There is a certain pedigree that um, still is in the world, which I wish could be taken and destroyed, but it still
Well,
is.
maybe it could be if small people were unified enough to fight and overthrow all the bullshit.
Yeah, I do still think that people need guidance. I do believe that people need rulers. I do think that people need people to at least have some semblance of an order. S- uh, 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 Not necessarily discipline, but I do believe that we do need a guiding hand behind what we do. You know,
Maybe, but only if that guiding hand was someone who proved with their actions that they deserve their position.
true. I agree with that. But in any case, that's neither here nor no in this story. But we do definitely see that of the forces that be. This story is actually being told by Paul Giamatti's character, because he has come to. It has been shown to us in the very beginning a little bit about it's like it shows us the middle of the movie. Uh, Eisenhower is in a theater and he's being surrounded by uh, the crown prince's guards, including the chief of police, who was played by Paul Giamatti, and he has basically called him out and arrested him, and that's about when he is shown as going and meeting with the crown prince, and he basically tells him, "Oh, we know all about Eisenheim, even since he was a little boy." So he basically goes into the story of what he does know, you know, and
Yeah.
that's how we get getting a piece of him as a kid, and he basically carves this necklace that evidently you can open it. It has a secret opening where it turns sideways and turns into a heart, and it has a picture of himself inside for Sophie, and she holds on to that for years. and then he,
Uh,
and then because they are basically sworn to not see each other, he ends up leaving home and not seeing her again until the crown prince actually comes to his performance with
It's
her.
like 15 years later.
Yeah, so he's all grown up. Paul Giamatti actually, his character, the chief of police or whatever, he comes and sees like a performance, and then he's impressed, and he shows up with his police inspectors inspecting the place because evidently the crown prince is going to be showing up and showing his support and seeing the performance, and he basically wants him to be a spy and figure out how he does his magic and whether he's a charlatan or not. And I think because of his slight jealousy and uh, dislike of um, of Eisenheim, I mean he takes a dislike to him like right away for some reason. And one of the reasons I think is he can't figure out for the life of him how he does his tricks, and that infuriates him. So it makes him think that he's a charlatan. You know. What do y'all think about the crown prince?
I think
he
he's a jerk.
is definitely a corrupted asshole. And one thing I didn't understand is since Sophie apparently knew that he was plotting to overthrow his father, why didn't she expose him if she already knew?
Because he didn't do that then if he wanted to live.
Correct. Women didn't
I'm
really
sorry, what?
because she wanted to live. You didn't really do that if you were a woman. Women were to be seen and not heard at this point in time. Women didn't have opinions as much as they do in this day and age. Women were property, that of to barter and to marry and make sure that they made money for you, and especially if you were royalty, and she was royalty. Um, she had to been in order to be married to the eventually married into this being with this crown prince, which is what her parents wanted. That's for darn sure. But um, she always loved Eisenheim. But she lived in an age where women weren't allowed to speak or have opinions, or and already this crown prince already thought that he owned her.
And even in this day and age, you didn't even if you were a male, you did not go against the crown prince if you wanted to live. So not just female, but yeah.
And
So
he was basically upstaging him. I mean, even though he was invited to do his magic for him for an evening, which is what eventually happens. He's invited to his place. He does this. He basically tells him, "Hey, I dare you to do magic without all the dramatics. He's like, okay. So he explains, and he takes his actual family sword, places it on the floor, and evidently enacts it as if it's the Excalibur sword in the stone. So he actually has several people come up and try to pull it from the floor. Nobody can, including the Calm Prince at first. And this was angering him. But luckily,
What angered him because he did the background on the Excalibur and said only the true ruler could pull Excalibur from the stone.
yep,
And so then when he couldn't pull it at first, it made him look like he wasn't supposed to be the true ruler.
yep. And
But
so his
yeah,
friends in the background were saying, "Oh, come on! If you can't pull this, then how can you even be ruler?" So it kind of shamed him for a moment, but then suddenly it let loose, and but he had a struggle for a moment, which pissed him off. And then, as he was walking away, he basically he basically in that moment was like, "Okay, I want you to destroy him." To Paul Giamatti's character, I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it. You make sure that he disappears. Shut him down, basically.
yeah.
So they go to a theater and shut the theater down. But what did you all think about all that? Kind of like an infant, hey,
yeah,
an
Yeah.
infantile prince.
The performances were very interesting. Okay, I know CGI was used for the movie, but I wonder if it would be possible in real life to perform such things on stage.
Well, yeah, I mean the fact that he took and grew an orange tree on stage. I mean that to me was pure magic, and that was the trick that Paul Giamatti's character was after. He really wanted to know exactly how it was done. I mean, it's because of him seeing these performances is why the prince even knew about anything, and the only reason why he was telling the prince about anything is because he wanted to change his social position. He wanted at first to become like a baron, if I remember correctly.
I
So,
think so.
but ultimately, this cat and mouse thing between him and Eisenheim, because of the way that he was treating Sophie. I believe that's why they did what they did. Um, they tricked everyone into everyone. I mean, this was the greatest illusion of all. But I mean, I did like the orange tree. Did you guys like the orange tree trick?
Yes, definitely.
yeah, I thought that was really neat.
I mean, The fact that he took that seed, stuck it in the dirt, and then it just rose. And then he supposedly had like a diagram of how he did it later on, but I think that even that was kind of a joke to me. I feel like it was still pure magic, you know.
Yes.
I think he gave him I still think he gave him a fake way of doing it, but later on, because there is no way a way that couldn't have been done not magically, to me.
Yeah. And
Um,
uh, about the ghosts, I can understand if Sophie's death was faked, that then he could have created an illusion of her as a ghost on stage. But I do wonder how he summoned the ghosts of those other people unrelated to him.
oh, later on, and well, and then we have to talk about Sophie's appearance on stage.
Ah, yes.
He he apparently needed a someone to help him on stage, and he wanted someone who wasn't afraid of death. And so at first I thought it was the crown prince who was going to come up, but instead it was Sophie. And when she came up to the stage, the first question he asked was, "Do you know me?" And
And
she
she
said, "No."
actually didn't recognize
She
him right
no,
away.
she did not, but he did. But it helped for his performance while he was on stage too. But he basically dressed her in a red robe,
Oh yes,
and
by the way, I loved that robe.
and then he put her to sleep, and then he told her to bow down before her mirror image, and the mirror image didn't move, but she did, and everybody laughed.
Yeah, that was mind blowing.
And then it seemed like someone else, or maybe it was even her, came up behind her image and killed herself with a sword, or at least in the mirror. But then he woke her up and turned her around, and she went back to the crown prince, and that was the performance, and and after he had gotten dressed or whatnot, he was told that the prince was waiting for him. He and his stage manager told him that he waited the full 5 minutes uh, for him, and he basically was impressed at the time, and so he invited him over to where he lived, and that was the previous performance that I was talking about with the Excalibur. But there was something he did uh, before that that evidently was with the theatrics. And that's part of what was pissing off the crown prince, because he was too theatrical or whatnot. So it made it seem like when he knew how the trick was done, and then it seemed to like bore him. But when he couldn't figure out the trick, it annoyed him, you know. So, but he also upstaged him on the stage, stage, and that's a no no. So to me, I think Eisenhower quickly became on his "I'm going to fuck with you" list, or "I'm going to destroy you" list, or whatever the fuck kind of list the Crown Prince had in his mind. He just wanted him gone off the stage, not practicing his tomfoolery. Um, if he can't if he can't have the trick to figure out, then fuck him.
Yeah.
He, but a magician should never have to tell his secrets. You know, a true magician should never have to be forced to relay how each of his tricks were entirely um, done. In fact, when Paul Giamatti's character came and asked him for the way that he did the orange trick, I'm just a policeman, man. I won't tell no one. And he's like, you know what? I'll give you something. If How about if I can figure out if I can't figure out which hand this ball is in, then I will give you the secret to the orange tree. Um, and he did figure out which hand the ball was in, and he told him how. And it wasn't because he'd been signaled or anything, a thing like that by his bank manager. It was because whatever hand that he was had it in, it would it would grow pale and the blood would go from the hand from
Well,
squeezing the balls so much.
that's because he had the hand up on his forehead.
Correct,
Mhm.
That's why the blood would drain and the hand would be paler.
correct. So he told him the secret of how he was able to figure it out. So um, it wasn't an entire reveal of all of his tricks or whatnot, but it was a way of showing the magic behind a prediction. You know, but you know, as a magician, you want people to believe in the idea of magic. So it's a magician's pride in order to keep the secret on how he does his tricks. You know, although it would be nice to figure out how to do some of these tricks so that maybe you can pick up the knack too. But um,
Yeah, but most of the time we still at least know it's not real.
well, yeah. And then let's see, what else does he do? Okay, so the theater is shut down. The bank manager, uh, is unhappy, but then he asks him how much money they have, and that's when that now by now, not only has Paul Giamatti's character come and asked him what kind of relationship he has with Sophie. He outright actually, he's actually smart this first time. He's very truthful. You know, he tells them
Yes,
the truth. I mean that the fact that they were childhood friends. You know, and that part is true. It's just that they were more than childhood friends. They were practically almost lovers. Uh,
Yeah.
but they were, in a sense, childhood friends. Um, so, all in all, at that point in time, that was the truth, you know.
Oh yes,
But it wasn't until she hopped into his carriage and told him that she remembered who he was. But even then, he kept things civil. You know, he kept things respectable because I don't
yeah.
think he want. I don't think he wanted her in trouble, and I don't think he wanted to be in trouble at that point in time. And then I don't think he expected to see her that one other time when he was being told that he was being run out of town. But they ended up having an affair, and she ended up going back to dude. Apparently, he slapped her, and then what it looks like to us, she ran outside. One of the servants was watching, and she supposedly went through a doorway, and then it looks like she escaped on a horse, but it looked like she was injured or dead. You know,
Actually, yes, that's one major part that I didn't end up understanding in the end. Like,
and it looked like dude was drunk. The crown prince was drunk, and he went in that direction.
yes, and we heard the sound of something being slashed with a sword. So if that fatal wound she had on her neck, if that was fake all along, then what was that slashing sound, and how did the crown prince not know all along that her death had been fake?
Don't know. All I know is something happened, and then the illusionist Eisenheim apparently came out of his supposed grief, acted like he lost the love of his life, and he got a new theater, well, a new location, an abandoned theater, and started to set up for a whole new kind of show, which just so happens to be that of supposedly bringing souls back from the dead.
Yes.
Now, for the sake of the people and the sake of saving his own life, he had to tell the people to go home and that it was all fake. Because when he'd been arrested, which we are now catching up to the beginning of the movie, when he got arrested, there was a mob that was standing right outside the police thing, and I know that he didn't want anything to happen to the people outside, so he protected them by disillusioning them from the reality of what he was doing. And I don't think that the people were disillusioned or anything because he still had a crowd that showed up at the next performance.
Yes.
But He whatever he said basically told them to go home or whatnot, and he was able to leave. You know, because he had nothing on him. You know, he was trying to prove that he was fraudulent. You know, because the crown prince was adamant about having him whatever. You know,
Yes.
so but there was always this cat and mouse thing going on between the police sergeant and Eisenheim. Eisenheim basically baited him with the whole the crown prince might have murdered Sophie with his next two performances. He definitely pointed the finger that way, and the crown prince was actually there for that first performance that he did when she showed up. But before that even happened, he had had several moments where he had brought young soldiers back, boys that little boys that could walk up and down the aisle and out into the streets.
Yes.
So this was an entirely new kind of magic. But I also think that um, I should mention Houdini because
Who?
Houdini,
Who?
one of the greatest magicians.
I know. I'm just goofing around.
You know why I want to mention him.
Yes, because he uh, did he make a whole train full of children disappear or something like that?
Um, I'm sure he did, but he also got very um obsessed with the other side, especially after
Oh,
his mother died. When
oh,
his mother died, he sought out every medium that there was um, in order to try to contact his mother. And eventually, Houdini became a medium faker. In fact, oftentimes his shows would have a third act where he would call out the mediums who would come to his show and he would prove them false in that third act. In fact, the medium society got to quite hate him because of this, because uh, he would he would show out how many of them were false at what they were doing. You know, were basically charlatans. You know, fake people trying to prey on uh, those who um, came to them for help and whatnot. And Houdini would oust them from their professions publicly, and this would humiliate uh, each of these people. So um, that type of society got to hate him pretty much. That's why. But that aspect of him kind of reminds me of um, Eisenhower in this second act where he's bringing people to life and shit. You know.
well, yes.
So I almost wonder if the director actually took some of the history of Houdini and enacted it in with Eisenheim.
Time.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Well, it's possible.
so ultimately, because of these two shows, it made a point of fact of pointing out that it's very possible that the crown prince might have uh murdered
So,
Sophie. So the police sergeant kind of puts together a possibility that he actually, in fact, did. In fact, he found a jewel, a piece of a jewel that came from the sword. And he matched it up with the sword and basically sent a letter to the crown prince's father about the sword and about his inclinations to overthrow him because he knew about them. And went to the crown prince with this information. And the crown prince, well, he was not happy. What did y'all think about this final thing with him, where he basically locked themselves in the room, and ultimately it looked at first like he was going to shoot him, but then looks like his family sent the guards after him, and it looks like he's losing his mind. What do y'all think?
Well, I don't think the police guy should have gone and confronted him alone. That I think was a mistake.
it was
Knowing about the
definitely
crown
danger.
prince and his reputation, he should never have confronted him alone because he almost did get shot.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
um, but um, you never really want to see anybody kill themselves. But you know what? He brought it on himself. So
Yep. He did
Well,
bring it on his.
I must admit I didn't expect the crown prince to shoot himself to death and uh, to give up so easily. And even when it happened, I thought there was going to be that it also might be some trick, that it might not really be the end of him.
Well, again, it's loosely based also on something that actually happened.
well,
Um,
as crazy as he was getting, I had a feeling it was going to go that way in the end because of how crazy he was getting. And the way he thought and everything, he he would much rather have died than been humiliated or found out that he killed her, or that he was gonna try and overthrow his father. You know, he didn't want to be found out about all that stuff, so he would
nope.
much
Uh,
rather have died.
I still didn't expect him to give up without a fight so easily.
Well, you don't.
Humiliation. He The thought of being humiliated and being found out for all of his bad things was to him was that would be worse than dying. So
Basically his pride.
I guess.
People with royal blood, if they in his position, the way things were going, and the way those guards were coming after him. he knew that even if he killed the police officer, he was going to die. So why fight the inevitable? He's in a corner. At first, the police captain, if those horses hadn't come around the corner, uh, the police captain would have died. But if not for them to save his hide, I think that the police captain actually might have actually been dead. But those horses coming around the corner, who were the guards of his father's, that basically was the hinge that kind of made him feel trapped. And I feel because he was trapped and he didn't want to get found out, and he didn't want to be entirely shamed, better that he fall on his sword, so to speak, and then be humiliated in front of everyone and a laughing stock. That was how the royalty thought. I mean, to him, he was stuck between a rock and a hard place, you know.
Well, we could say so, but on the other hand, it also made him look as if he really had murdered Sophie, while he in his head should have known that he didn't.
Well, he didn't. He didn't know because he was drunk.
Ah, okay, yeah, I forgot that.
He was drunk and drugged, but he didn't know that he was drugged. He knew that he was drunk, and there was pieces of his of time missing from his head about what happened. So it's very, it very much could have happened the way. And the police inspector, he found proof that it was him because of that stone from his sword. But what he didn't realize until the very end is that it was a whole trick. That they, but this was after the crown prince had shot himself dead. You know, so there's nothing really that he can get a dude on. But they basically tricked everyone into thinking that she was killed. And he found out that she was still alive, the police inspector, through what he was thinking of that whole montage. You know, he figured out what went on, and he laughed at it. And then, of course, that necklace was stolen back from him. So, and as far as we know, them two met up wherever and lived happily ever after. So,
yeah, I must admit, I really, after everything that happened before that, I really didn't expect that sort of ending.
well, and if you didn't realize it in the montage, the person who actually um identified and did the was kind of like the mortuary person when the body of the girl showed up. That was an actor, that was a stage actor that Eisenhower was talking to at the train yard,
Huh.
without the beard, and he was telling him that he would meet her wherever he was going after everything was done, and that was only half of the conversation that the police inspector heard, but he didn't connect the two at the time, you know.
Yes.
So there was a lot that went into this elaborate trick. That the fact that they killed her off for a time and let people believe what they wanted to believe in order to trap the crown prince in his own shit, you know. Um,
Okay.
and it was definitely an elaborate trick. But that being said, I think we are at the end of everything. Did anyone else have anything else to add?
Uh, I would like to apologize for not maybe having enough to say and for coughing so much during this discussion. I caught a cold several days ago and I'm still recovering, so sorry everyone about that.
Was filmed in 2006. Oh, I'm trying to tell someone that okay, because someone said, "Damn, the movie was just out. How are y'all so fast?" Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah, this film was filmed in 2006 with Edward Norton. If you heard us in the very beginning, we explained all that. So, Mr. Baby Driver, see,
yes.
so. But anyways, did anyone else have anything else to add?
Uh,
Tammy?
No, I think we're good.
I don't know why, but I can't hear anyone.
uh,
Let me.
not about the movie plot, but we did forget to talk about the production, the music, and favorite characters and favorite scenes.
All right. Can
We
you hear
didn't
me?
get to that part yet. He was asking if there was anything else you wanted to say.
Oh,
Ah,
okay. Yep. Was there anything else that we had to say? Because I was seeing the comment that was here.
No,
Because
oh,
someone commented, "Damn, the movie was just out. How are y'all so fast?" No, the movie was not just out. It's been out since 2006. At least this particular film. So,
oh
um,
wow, someone is actually listening to us and leaving comments.
yep. So
Oh,
this was
that's
a film from
amazing.
2006. If you had listened to us in the very beginning, so
Interesting.
and it shows right above exactly the year that this film came out. So, and if you look up on IMDb, it was filmed in 2006 as well. So, but in any case, did anyone else have anything else to add? Like I had asked.
Nothing I can think of.
I remember thinking that Jessica Biel was very pretty during the film. Ah,
Yeah.
and I remember her having her own show at the time. So,
Oh, really?
yep. But in any case, okay. Well, what do y'all think about production overall? Tammy, what did you think about production?
I thought it was really good. You know, you had mentioned it earlier too at the beginning. I thought that the costumes were very good for the time period and everything. You know, portraying it and um, the buildings um, and then of course you had the horse and buggy type of thing going on. You know, so yeah, I think and also the ways of society also for that time period most definitely were portrayed, you know. So I think they did good on production.
All right. And what about you, Boris?
I also think it was very good, especially the special effects during the performances, and also the apparently fatal wound on Sophie's neck was also quite realistic, at least as far as I can tell. Uh, what else? I- oh yeah, especially the moment on stage with the butterflies. I think that was really interesting.
Okay. And is that pretty much it for you?
I think so.
Okay. As I said before, this is definitely a period piece. I I loved all the different areas and the theaters that they uh, used, whether they were CGI or not. I loved the look of Eisenheim, um, and the character. I mean, he definitely had a mystique about him. Um, I loved um, the fact that he was a man that stayed true to what he believed in. Um, and but yeah, all the places that they filmed, it seemed like it was of the period. Um, I was impressed with the way everyone was dressed, um, and things of that nature. So, but yeah, the production to me overall looked impressive to me at the time. And I don't. I'm trying to remember what I was doing in 2006. I think I actually might have seen it in the theater.
Oh wow.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I know I know it was definitely a film that it would have seen in the theater if I could have. Um, but in any case, let's go. And I think the music was something. What do y'all think?
Uh, I I'm trying to recall what songs there were.
Illusionist. I'm
Uh,
bringing up the IMDb page right now so that I can bring up the composer. Okay, all cast and crew. All right, producers, composer was Philip Glass, and Philip Glass is known for films like The Truman Show, The Hours, Notes on a Scandal, and it looks like he. Oh, Looking back. Okay, Fantastic Four from 2015. A movie called Visitors. Let's see. Going backwards. Transcendent Man. Uh, Going backwards. Movies like The Mustache and Roving Mars. Clive Barker Raising Hell. Oh, he was the composer for Secret Window, the movie. And The Fog of War. Okay. I mean, I'm trying to see how early he. Okay. Do I remember any of his earlier stuff? Not really that much. Okay, Hamburger Hill. He was the composer behind that one. And The Thin Blue Line and The Church. Okay, the church is important. But oh, and he was the composer for the original Candyman and Candyman Farewell to Flesh.
Whew. Well, Tammy, can you recall any songs from the movie? I don't know why, but I really can't. Yet Dave said they were uh, quite remarkable, apparently, and for some reason I
I
can't
I
remember
liked I
them.
liked the composing music. That's what I was talking about. Nothing with any lyrics. So,
Huh.
did you like the music, Tammy? Did you think it was serviceable?
Sure. I
Okay,
wasn't really paying attention to the music.
I was listening to some of it when the music came about when the orange tree was coming up out of the dirt. Things of that nature. But in any case, let's go into favorite scenes and our favorite characters.
Ooh, who is going first?
Oh, let's go with you, Boris. Since you didn't, you were the only one who here who didn't see it first. So
Sorry, the only one who didn't what?
didn't see the movie before.
Ah, well, I think my favorite character is definitely Eisenheim because he was so smart to fool everyone and he kind of gave them what they deserved. So, yeah, I think most definitely him. And my favorite scene, well, probably the ending when it was revealed that Sophie had been alive all along.
Okay. What about you, Tammy?
I, I think my favorite character is Eisen. Hosers is it's called.
Eisenheim,
Yeah. Um.
not hosers.
um.
You were thinking Kevin Smith, yoga hosers, for a moment.
Um. My favorite scene, I think, is the orange tree.
Okay.
That's
Any
just
other
me.
scenes?
The first time when he comes back, the first time that he brings a ghost or whatever you want to call what he's bringing back, you know. the first time he does that, and everybody's just in like they don't know what to think. They don't know, you know. Everybody's like in shock.
Yeah.
So
Okay. And my favorite character also is Eisenheim. He's a very interesting character all the way through. Um, and I do like the orange tree a moment, but I also like it when he's upstaging the crown prince with the Excalibur moment. Um, and I also love the entire trick that he shows an illusion of himself, like that ending where he himself is an illusion on stage, you know.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that he himself ended up being a part of his illusions. Like so, just to think about it, his illusion brought the illusion of her forward. You know, the fact that kind of thing happened is astounding. I thought that was pretty amazing because when they came up to arrest him and their hands just went straight through him, that was great.
Yes.
And then he certainly uh, when he chased after him and he real and after he had found out the prince or been through the whole crown prince thing, the police sergeant, he was given the actual trick for the orange tree, but then he was pickpocketed by the illusionist or Eisenheim to get that necklace back that he found in the hay that would have proved that Sophie was still alive, you know. But um, he laughed, and that was pretty much the end of the movie. They got away with it all. They got away. They technically got away with letting the crown prince think what he thought, and him coming to his end regardless. And it wasn't as if they put a bullet in his the gun in his hand to do it. You know, he did that all on his own volition. So,
Right.
but at the end of everything, did anyone else have anything else to add?
Uh, uh, I could tell a joke. Uh, what do you call an owl magician?
What?
Hoot Diddy.
In any case, everyone, one. Hopefully, you have enjoyed our discussion on the Illusionist. I hope that you both had fun watching the film and talking about it. Um, I definitely enjoyed watching this movie again and discussing it with y'all. Um, if you haven't seen the movie, go out and see it. Uh, and then when you get done with that, you come back and you let us know what you thought of our discussion and what we thought. And we'll see you next time here on Delusions of Grandeur.
well, next
Who's
week is Philippe.
Philippe? Did you have one in mind? And I'm sorry, but it can't be Hellgirl unless you figured that out yet.
Actually, I am. I would like to try some way to make that movie available to you, but if I fail, then I will come up with another one. Is that okay?
That's fine. If you think you can make it available to me one more time, then we will try. And if it fails, I'll let you know.
Put that.
Alrighty. In any case, we'll see you next week Sunday here on Delusions of Grandeur. Everyone say good night
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
and happy holidays.
Oh
It's
yes,
it,
happy.
it's coming upon the days when people celebrate Christmas. So have a good evening,
Good
morning,
night.
wherever you are.
Yeah, good night.
Septum Sin versus the world. It's that place for all the boys and girls. You'll feel real safe, you'll feel real warm. It's a cozy place to ride out the storm. Septum Sin. Septum Sin and his best boy Jake see the trends that scare us every day. Physical media is going to the side. Doctor streaming will rule the world in time. Septum Sin! Septum